morning everybody, or evening when this is probably dropping. But anyway, this video today is on stock GM versus stock Ford and our thoughts on them, what you can run. If you watch our channel, you've kind of seen what we've done to each of them. Both of these trucks are running 24x14s on 33s. The Ford is bone stock. We had to do some trimming to get the front to fit. The GMC is stock, but they have torsion keys on them, so we're able to turn the torsion keys up probably about halfway to basically level it. And it's also running the 24x14 33s and 2-inch spacers. So kind of going to talk about both of those things and how they went, and then how like the size comparison, I guess. For a long time, Ford, I guess since 2017, right, whenever they came out with this body style, they had been running huge setups compared to GM, because GM never allowed enough room in their front fenders to be able to let you turn. So you always had to cut the tar out of it to be able to get it to happen. These new GM trucks are absolutely huge in comparison. I never really noticed it until we got the Ford and put them side by side. So I'm gonna turn around here and get a few shots of this and kind of show the difference in what you have to do for simply just running a 24x14 on 33s, or if you want to do a little bit more, kind of letting you know what you could go with to be able to do that. All right, so here's the shot of both of them. Please know I'm parked in a yard that is not even close to level. So yes, it appears like the truck on the right is huge. It's definitely bigger, but the way they're parked right now also doesn't really do it a lot of justice either. So anyways, just wanted to throw that out there right now. Anyways, on this Ford, we'll take a look at it here. Still got the old factory rake going on, a couple inches down in the front, 2.5, whatever it measures. And, you know, really good looking stock truck. As far as the exterior, the literally only thing this thing has is a few rock lights and some wheels and tires. So what we had to do, you'll notice right here, it's kind of hard to tell because of the professionals who cut it. Basically just had to trim this inner piece out right here, and then we just bent this tab up. We haven't cut it off yet because we weren't sure if we were going to run something else on this truck. We just wanted to see what you'd have to do to get this to fit. And then on the front, you know, maybe took off that much that ran down through here, and it actually catches on this. I don't really know why Ford puts this in behind this other carpet one and doesn't even have it tacked back. It's kind of looks a little trashy, so we're going to get that kind of cleaned up. But this truck very minorly rubs with this setup on here, and this is only a 13.5 tire, if you were wondering. It's the custom Dusty edition of Archon wheels here. So yeah, they're pretty rare. Anyways, that's that setup. That's kind of an idea of the size of the truck. Obviously didn't have to do anything in the rear whatsoever. Gobs of room. Ideally, this looks fine with a 33, and you don't notice it quite as much. But if you put let's say you didn't want to trim at all, probably going to be running a 2.5-inch level, 2-inch level, something like that, to be able to clear it. But then at that point, to me, it starts looking like the GMs, where 33s start to look small. So it really makes you want to run a 35. That's just the way I feel about it. Because whenever you get over here to the GMs and look at it and kind of back up and away, there's the rear, looks fine, nothing had to change there. And then the front is kind of where all of the cutting happens. Ended up just following down this line right here on down the bumper. So if you don't like cutting bumpers, you might want to fast forward, because not only did I cut the bumper, I also cut the fender right like this. With the way these are set up, there's really not much of a better way to do it. Just because of this big plastic. If it was just metal exposed like the Ford was here, you know, you can get away with trimming stuff all up in here and having a nice, beautiful, perfect line all the way down. That's obviously not a perfect line, but you know what I mean. It'd be nice and smooth and you'd never notice it. These, because of these stinking flares, they have this a mount piece right down here, and if you cut any deeper or up through here to mess anything up, it just gets rid of this whole piece and exposes a bunch of the fender, and it looks even worse. So from what we've seen and what we've done, we took the chances and we did it, and that's the best result that we've came up with. If you don't like it, don't do it. So let's say you were going to run these 24x14s and 33s on your truck. You're going to want to turn your torsion keys up. And then after you do that, you're going to want to take off this mud flap, which comes down to about here or so on these trucks. There's really no way to get away from doing that unless you lift these trucks a little bit. They're big. They just still come in so much on these fenders that they will rub there for sure. And then if you could imagine this bumper doing what GM always does, which is from right here, it went straight down. So, I mean, I got rid of a lot. You still have to trim this valance for sure. And then maybe like this far up on your bumper, just the bottom couple inches, just a little bit of a notch there to run the 14 wides on 33s. So that was kind of the comparison between the two and what they're running and what you have to do. You just wanted to kind of compare the two trucks. And then outside of just those setups, any other comparisons that you could do with these two that I learned from, you know, getting to drive them both a little bit and kind of, you know, first Ford. Well, really, we have the big red truck, but first more of a stock, newer truck compared. There's still some things that I would choose GM over. There's still some things that are pretty cool that the Ford does. I love the panoramic in here where you could open up your entire sunroof. That's pretty cool. I think the interior looks cool and it has massaging seats. And then at least it has a big screen, even though the quality of the screen isn't quite as clear. So that's my 2 cents there. Little details like that, kind of like that lights up. But beyond that, interior at this point, I don't know if I want to say that they're equal, but they're fairly close, because like the audio is not as great in the Ford. It's good in the GM. The screen's bigger than the GM, but GM has some other better things, like the rear view mirror you can flip and see out of and stuff like that with the video. All the different camera angles that the GM has is really nice. This truck runs better. I don't remember how many horsepower they have, but that truck runs better than this truck. But GM has an update coming on their new trucks where they're going to put out a little more horsepower. If you're just buying one stock and don't want to touch it, the Ford looks better for sure. There's no painted parts on this truck. This is bone stock, the way they come, and it looks good. It does help that it's black because you wouldn't see the plastic as much anyway, but basically it just has these mirrors that are plastic. You know, a couple bumper pieces and stuff like that. But if you were on this truck and thinking about what's plastic when you buy it, it's stinking everything. This is normally black plastic. This is a marker light. These are all black plastic. They come into like 14 different pieces, taking those apart. I had to color match this. I mean, that's black plastic. All these caps, just the whole bumpers. I guess that's the same on about everything. I like kind of leaving the bumpers like that just because of, if you're tough on any part of it, you're pretty tough on the bumpers, getting stuff in and out. But it's because if you were just sitting these trucks side by side together with 14 wides on it, I'm going to pick the Ford because of not having the color matching done. So that's my 2 cents there on that one. Overall, would I own either of these trucks again? Yeah, I don't have enough to pick on either one of them. They're both pretty cool. It's been cool getting to drive them both and kind of see what they're about. I'm still a little partial to GM, but Ford changes a couple things. I could very happily drive around a Ford as well. As long as it's getting me to point A to point B, I'm not going to be crazy particular. A truck's a truck, and they're fun to tinker with and play around on. So what's your opinion? What do you like better? Do you like Ford better? Do you like GM better? What are some reasons of why? And or you just die hard one way or the other? You'll never drive a GM or you'll never drive a Ford. I've never really been that way. I'm going to jump in any vehicle I can get my hands on because I like being able to try them out and testing them for myself, because other people's opinions normally don't cut it for me. I want to get a chance to experience it and do some things myself. So anyways, that's kind of what this video was about, what you can clear on them stock, how big the new GMs, well, since 2020, how big those GMs are compared to the Fords. They're definitely bigger than them, and they have the torsion key, so you can just turn them right up instead of having to put on a leveling kit. A lot more stuff to paint on the GM trucks to get them looking good. But overall, they're both really cool trucks. Got a lot of cool features to offer both ways. So drop it in the comments. Which one would you drive? Why would you drive it? What are your reasons for, making that decision? And let us know. See you guys. Like, comment, subscribe.